Have you ever heard someone say, "Show me where Jesus actually said, 'I am God'?" You know, that one question that can really throw you for a loop if you're not ready for it. Well, today we're going to tackle that head on by decoding one of Jesus' most famous statements, "I am the door." And trust me, you are going to be surprised by what's really hidden inside that simple phrase.
All right, let's get into it by starting with a problem that a lot of us might recognize. Our source material calls it a crisis of faith, and it's something that's happening in communities all over the world. And you know, this crisis is exactly why an ancient phrase like this is more relevant right now than ever before.
So here's the core issue. In a lot of faith communities, the second and third generations are, well, they're drifting away. These are kids who grew up in the church, but now they're just not there. The huge question is why? What is going on?
Now, according to our source, this isn't really about a flat-out rejection of faith. It's more of a crisis of unanswered questions. Young people have these real, honest-to-goodness questions about suffering and science and the big claims of their faith. But when they get told to just believe, or they're made to feel weak for even having doubts, that faith they inherited can start to feel, well, pretty hollow.
And this whole drift is so often kicked off by one specific, really powerful question. It's a challenge that can become a massive stumbling block for anyone who hasn't really had the chance to dig in and explore their faith for themselves.
This is it, the classic challenge you see all over the internet. And let's be honest, for a lot of believers, it's a gut punch. You start flipping through your Bible, and you can't find that exact word-for-word sentence. It can make you feel like your entire belief system is built on something that maybe wasn't even said.
But here's the thing. The answer to that challenge is incredibly powerful, and it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. It's wrapped up in a simple two-word phrase that, once we understand the language and the context of the time, it just changes everything.
So this is the crucial point. We need to understand what Jesus' first-century Jewish audience heard when he said the phrase, "I am," because to them, it wasn't simple at all. In fact, it was explosive.
Okay, let's do a quick language deep dive, because this is where it gets really cool. In the original Greek, the phrase is ego eimi. Now, the word eimi by itself already means I am. The I is built in. So when you add the extra word ego, which also means I, you're essentially saying I am. It's like putting the word I in bold, italics, and all caps with a giant exclamation point. It was a massive, deliberate emphasis on who he was.
So, when Jesus said ego eimi, he wasn't just stating his existence. Like you or I would say, I am a teacher, or I am here. No way. He was making a profound declaration. He was essentially saying, I am the one you've been waiting for. I am he. It was a claim of ultimate, absolute significance.
And here is where the historical dots connect. See, Jesus' Jewish audience knew their scriptures backward and forward. They would have instantly connected ego eimi to its Hebrew equivalent, anoki. And anoki was the very word God used in the Old Testament to declare his divine identity, like when he told Moses, "I am the God of your father." So by using this specific loaded phrase, Jesus was basically signing his name with God's signature.
And how do we know they got the message? Just look at how they reacted. They didn't scratch their heads and wonder what he meant. They picked up rocks to kill him on the spot. And what was the charge? It wasn't that he was a liar or a crazy person. The charge was blasphemy. Because, and these are their own words, you, a mere man, claim to be God. They understood exactly what he was claiming.
Okay, so with that critical context in our back pocket, let's apply this powerful I am claim to one of its most famous metaphors. I am the door. And believe me, this isn't just some random image. It's a picture drawn directly from their everyday lives.
First things first, we have to get the modern image of a door completely out of our heads. We are not talking about a piece of wood on hinges in a house. No, the image Jesus is using here is way more rustic, way more immediate, and way more personal.
So imagine this. You're a shepherd out in the open wilderness. At night, to protect your totally defenseless sheep from wolves and other predators, you'd gather them into a makeshift pen, maybe a circle of stacked stones. But here's the key part. This pen would have only one single gap for an entrance, and at night, the shepherd wouldn't build a gate, he would physically lie down in that opening. He himself became the living gate, the living door. Absolutely nothing could get in or out without going through him.
This powerful image of the shepherd as the door, it carried this profound twofold meaning for the flock. It was all about what happened inside the pen and what happened outside of it.
So this one door served two totally different purposes. As a door in, it meant salvation.
It meant safety from all the dangers lurking in the dark. But as a door out, it meant provision. It was the only way to get to the very things the sheep needed to live and thrive.
So let's break down that first function, the door in, which is all about salvation.
I mean, sheep are pretty much helpless animals, right? They've got no real defenses against predators. Their only hope is their shepherd. So at night, when that shepherd laid his body across the opening, he was the absolute 100% guarantee of their safety. Inside that fold, they were secure. That is a perfect picture of salvation. Total protection from ultimate harm.
All right, now for the second function, the door out. This is all about provision.
But a sheep can't just stay in the pen forever, right? It would starve. So the shepherd is also the one who, in the morning, gets up and leads the flock out through that very same opening. He guides them to fresh grass, to safe water. A sheep can't find these things by itself. It depends completely on the shepherd for its daily needs.
And this ties in perfectly to another famous line from the exact same passage. Jesus says, "The thief only comes to steal and destroy, but I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." You see, it's not just about survival inside the pen, it's about abundance and thriving out in the pasture, and it's all accessed through Him.
So, what's the big takeaway for us? I mean, how does this ancient picture of a shepherd sleeping in a gap in a stone wall connect to our lives right here, right now?
Our source material uses this beautiful analogy. Just think about a small child for a second. A kid's life isn't free from problems or dangers, but they can live without that crushing anxiety because they have this implicit, absolute trust that a loving parent is there to protect them and to provide for them. They don't have all the answers, but they trust the one who does.
And that brings us right back to where we started. Every single one of us faces unanswered questions and stands at the door of an uncertain future. The claim, "I am the door," isn't just an ancient metaphor, it's an invitation. It's an invitation to trust that the one who offers ultimate safety is also the one who provides for all of our daily needs. So the real question isn't whether we have all the answers, it's whether we're willing to trust the one who says he is the door.